I pulled up to the farmhouse just as the sun was setting, my hand still shaking on the steering wheel. 20 years since my father walked out of my life, and now he had the audacity to show up asking for handouts. When I was 12, my dad dropped me off at my grandfather's place with 2 suitcases and a half-hearted promise to visit soon. His new wife didn't want me around. I wasn't part of her perfect family picture. I thought my world was ended. Turns out it was just beginning. Grandpa Thomas wasn't warm and fuzzy, but he was solid, reliable, present. He owned 600 acres of prime farmland that had been in our family for 3 generations. When my dad was growing up, Grandpa had been a mess, drinking himself into debt while the farm barely survived. But by the time I arrived, he'd been sober for 5 years and had turned everything around. For 8 years, it was just us. Grandpa taught me everything. How to read soil, manage livestock, handle equipment, balance books. We'd wake at dawn, work until dusk, and he'd help me with homework at the kitchen table. He never missed a single school event. When he passed away, I was 20. He left me everything. The land, the house, the equipment, bank accounts with more money than I'd ever imagined. The whole operation was worth close to $4 million. My father didn't come to the funeral, didn't call, didn't send flowers, nothing. I spent the next 18 years building on what Grandpa started. I transformed the ranch into something special. We run an agritourism business where city families come stay for weeks learning farm life. I started a farmer's market, sell organic beef to restaurants, lease portions of land to younger farmers trying to get started. Last year alone, I cleared $900,000 in profit. In all that time, my father called exactly 0 times. No verdades, no jodidas. When I got married 4 years ago, I didn't even bother inviting him. Then last week, he appeared at my door. Not to apologize, not to reconnect. He wanted to talk business. His precious daughter, my half-sister who I've met twice in my life, is struggling financially. Her husband lost his job. They're behind on their mortgage. She needs a fresh start. And dear old dad figured I could just hand over some land and give her a management position in my operation. Family takes care of family, he said with a straight face. The audacity was breathtaking. This man who abandoned his 12-year-old son was lecturing me about family loyalty. I told him I'd think about it. Instead of leaving, he started texting me multiple times daily. Detailed messages about which parcels would be perfect for his daughter. Suggestions about what role she could fill. Even ideas about where she could build a house. The messages got more demand. She deserves this opportunity. Grandpa would have wanted this. You owe your family. Like my property was some family commune he could redistribute. After a week of constant harassment, I'd had enough. I called my friend Marcus, the local sheriff's deputy, and asked about restraining orders. 40 minutes later, I walked out of the station with legal papers in hand. Then I called David and asked if he'd take a road trip with me. I need backup for a family meeting. He didn't ask questions, just grabbed his keys. It took 11 hours to drive to my father's house. I needed that time to clear my head and plan exactly what I was going to say. David kept offering to drive, but I needed something for my hands while I processed everything. We pulled up to my father's modest 2-bedroom house around 7 in the evening. Before we even got out, we could hear a woman screaming inside. That's probably your sister, David said. Sounds like she's having a great day. Start recording, he said, pulling out his phone. Trust me on this one. I'm glad he thought of it, because what happened next was incredible. I walked up and knocked. The screaming stopped immediately. Footsteps, then the door opened. My father's face went from confusion to shock to pure terror in about 2 seconds. Gray hair, beer gut, that defeated look in his eyes. Except now, he looked scared. Here's your family meeting, I said, holding up the restraining order. You abandoned me once. Now I'm returning the favor. Behind him, my half-sister appeared. She looked rough. Unwashed hair, wrinkled clothes. That desperate look of someone fighting losing battles too long. When she saw me, her face went confused. Wait, yeah, I'm the brother you never called, I interrupted. The one who's supposedly supposed to hand over his life's work, because dad says so. My father tried to stammer something, but I wasn't finished. Grandpa left me everything because he knew who actually cared about family. You know what he told me before he died?